work that we're doing has importance for the future by the example it sets in terms of physical observations in the field that are meaningful, and the creativity and craft of applying technology to expand our understanding of how this volcano works, both in terms of its subterranean behavior, patterns of activity, signals that it provides that otherwise might be missed without the assistance of that technology, and so on. In the future there'll be new technologies. There'll still be a need for basic physical observation, however, to correlate with what our clever use of instruments and monitoring equipment tells us.
A drone sent to investigate Hawaii erupting Kilauea volcano has left scientists baffled after the aerial footage showed concerning changes within the main crater at the volcano's summit. A drone mission has alarmed scientists monitoring the Hawaii's volcano eruption, which has become one of the world's most dangerous and volatile sites. Kilauea volcano has shocked the world with streams of lava swallowing houses and giant fissures opening up across Hawaii. The latest aerial drone footage of the volcano has revealed dramatic changes within the volcano spotted at one of Kilauea's main craters. There are new alarming cracks and faults seen in a collapsed crater, some of which are spewing with intense steam. Scientists are concerned that an expanding collapsed crater and the debris blocking the vent could trigger a massive explosion. The Kilauea crater has undergone a sudden transformation since the eruptions began in early May, including the surprising disappearance of a lava lake. The drone footage from the U.S. Geological Survey shows yellow sulfur substance on the rubble-covered floor and a scattering of large ballistic blocks around the crater rim. USGS officials revealed that the empty vent once housed a 12-acre lava lake up until a few weeks ago. The vent is currently empty of lava and has been stretched to massive 100 acres. The boulders blocking the crater's eruptive vent have stopped huge clouds of ash emerging, but the consequences are unknown. Kyle Anderson, a geophysicist with the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, said experts are uncertain whether this could end eruptions or cause another bigger explosion. Kyle Anderson said, "We really don't know the implications of this long term. It's possible that new explosions will blast through the rubble at the bottom of the vent. These may or may not be larger than the previous explosions. It is also possible that the vent may become permanently blocked, ending the explosions entirely. The depth of the crater is not yet known." This comes as volcanologists showed that the month-old eruption on Hawaii's Big Island has entered a new, quieter, calmer phase inside the crater.
As if Hawaii Island community was inundated with lava erupting from the Kilauea volcano, the Hawaii National Guard was activated, calling soldiers and airmen to perform their state mission to ensure that residents of Hawaii County are safe and that their property remains secure.
Task Force Hawaii has been established by the Hawaii National Guard. It's composed of airmen and soldiers from the Army and the Air National Guard. And what we do in Task Force Hawaii is we mission command or command and control the organizational assets and resources that are here on island, on the Big Island, in response to assistance as requested by the County of Hawaii. So what we've done is we've established several teams that are working with the first responders on the Big Island. One team is the aviation element. They're working with the Hawaii Fire Department and their aviation element to provide that support as needed. We have two teams on the ground that's composed of our security team that go out to the neighborhoods in response to requests from Hawaii County Police Department in regards to presence patrols. And then we have traffic control points and checkpoints to control the flow in and out of the affected area.
The security teams provided 24-hour support of communities at specific checkpoints.
Our typical shift is we man a post. We have about 5 posts set up. We make sure no one is allowed in or out. If people is allowed in, we let them know what the status is on the inside.
Command and control was provided at a joint emergency operations center where the ever-evolving conditions on the ground changed as new volcanic fissures opened each day.
When it first developed, the Hawaii National Guard Joint Operations Center stood up a very small initial response. But over time, the incident has grown in scope and in danger in regards to the lava and where the lava is, especially in the Leilani Estates and then the East Rift Zone. So we've had to increase the amount of personnel on the ground and amount of resources that we have to apply in order to assist the county in their efforts to help the community respond to whatever Pele does, and then also hasten the recovery of the community when all of this is over.
A public affairs team was also dispatched to assist Hawaii County authorities with on-site lava coverage and also coordinated media inquiries from international, national, and local media outlets. National Guard civil support teams from Hawaii's 93rd CST and Arizona's 91st CST provided around-the-clock monitoring of sulfur dioxide levels that protected both first responders and residents of Puna. Members of the community were very grateful for the support.
I have a lot of friends and family that live in Leilani Estates, and to just them knowing I'm here helping their community it means a lot to them. Like local people helping our friends and family, our community, it means a lot to the community.
Plans are also being developed in the possible case scenario where a large section of the community gets cut off by an active lava flow. This is Tech Sergeant Andrew Lee Jackson reporting with the Hawaii National Guard.
Starting in the lower East Rift Zone, Fissure 8 is still the most active fissure and is continuing to produce persistent fountains up to heights of 260 feet. And it's feeding a major lava flow field that is heading northeast alongside Highway 132. The flow front is moving at about 80 yards an hour and is currently 0.85 miles west of the Four Corners intersection. A mandatory evacuation is in effect for Leilani Estates, and residents of Kapoho beach lots and vacation lands are being urged to evacuate by 6 p.m. today or risk being isolated if the lava flow cuts access to Beach Road. The Fissure 18 flow front has stagnated about half a mile from Route 137, but small breakouts are still occurring further up the flow, with the most active one about 1.5 miles from the road. At the summit, ash continued to erupt intermittently from the vent in Hale Ma'u crater, and continued explosions and elevated seismicity are expected. And the overlook vent itself within the crater has grown from about 12 acres to more than 100 acres as a result of the explosions. So communities downwind should continue to be prepared for ashfall and fog as long as the explosions continue. And as always, the USGS Volcanoes website for the Hawaii Volcano Observatory is a good place to find information about preparing for and dealing with ash. Thanks. Lower East Rift Zone in the Leilani Estates area, Fissure 8 was the most active fissure overnight. It was producing fountains up to 250 feet high and continued to feed a lava flow moving north out of the Leilani Estates area, and then which turned northeast along Route 132 into the Nori Farms Road area. This morning, as of 6:15 a.m., it was about 2 miles from the Four Corners intersection, and that's about 2 miles to the west. Currently, the county is advising vacation lands and Kapoho beach lots residents to evacuate because of the danger of roads in the area being cut off by lava flows. And we should also note that cell phone towers and regular landlines have been heavily damaged in the area, and so there may be reduced service. At the summit crater, we are still seeing intermittent ash eruptions and still experiencing elevated seismicity and heavy gas output. The National Weather Service yesterday notified us of a plume rising to about 12,000 feet, but because of weather, visibility was so bad that we were having trouble confirming it on the ground. Regardless, we expect ash plumes to continue, as well as the elevated seismicity and gas emissions.
we're just missing on the Carol Beach. There, Conway.
And the smell, it smells like charcoal. That's actually a mix of sulfur dioxide and vegetation that's moldering and forming.
Right. Anything else, just let me, I'm going to roll behind your shoulder here for a second. Sure. Rolling. One step now. I'm going to switch around.
Running under the house, and I'll show you where it goes here, but as we do, take a look around at the landscape here a little bit.
Yeah, okay, I'll lift it. Yeah, I'll lift it.
Probably points 5 or 6 feet wide, really. And then, I mean, you can pan down into it.
Yep, I can get in. Yep, I can get in.
As you start to zoom in, I will say something like you can zoom all the way down, and
yep, that sounds good.
It's clearly
good. Yep.
I mean, that's probably 50.
Even a little tighter on these three. It's up to y'all. If we don't need to,
I think
we're okay. Okay.
Right.
This is the HVO Kilauea update for June 7th. In the lower East Rift Zone, lava fountaining continues at Fissure 8 with fountain heights of 130 to 230 feet, and it also continues to feed a lava flow channel through the Kapoho area with an ocean entry that has a broad front in the general area of Kapoho Bay and vacation lands. It's still producing a vigorous steam and laze plume that, depending on the wind direction, has been blown to the southwest. We remind you that laze or lava haze is a localized hazard and will not travel far downwind. The northern lobe of the Fissure 8 flow has stalled, although there is still some incandescence in the finger of that lobe that advanced into a low depression or graben several nights ago. The lobe that was active on the west side of the Four Corners cinder pit is now inactive, and no other fissures are active at this time. Pele's hair and other lightweight glass fragments are accumulating in the Leilani Estates subdivision, and strong winds can blow those particles farther from the area. Because they are made of glass and can cause skin and eye irritation, you should minimize contact with them. At the summit, a small explosion with the energy equivalent to a magnitude 5.6 earthquake occurred at 4:07 p.m. yesterday and created an ash plume that rose to a height of 10,000 feet. Seismicity dropped after the explosion but is increasing again, and following the pattern of the next few days, we expect the next small explosion in about 24 hours. Slumping of the rim and walls of Halema'uma'u crater continues in response to the ongoing summit subsidence. VOG emissions from the summit and the fissures remain high, and in the next several days, wind may bring VOG not only to the south and west sides of the island, but to the interior as well. Thank you.
My name is Matthew Patrick. I'm a geologist. I work for the U.S. Geological Survey's Hawaiian Volcano Observatory. This is the Fissure 6 fountain. Most of the lava is flowing towards the southeast into a channel, a lava channel that pours into the ocean, creating an ocean entry. And we're here, whereas we're part of a 24-hour watch on the ongoing eruption on the lower east rift zone of Kilauea, and we're keeping an eye on where the activity is and where it might migrate. The activity has been very erratic here in this general area. It's kind of operated in fits and starts. Over the past week or so, we have seen a shift to more sustained diffusion at higher diffusion rates, really feeding a significant amount of lava into these lava channels that are pouring into the ocean. One of the things we're watching in this general area, or this immediate area, is we're looking for overflows or changes in that flow direction, because just upslope of us here a little bit is a geothermal plant. So we're kind of monitoring the flow margin, making sure that it doesn't migrate any closer to that geothermal plant. There's another area of activity just uprift from us, a couple kilometers, and that is an area of some new activity over the past day, also some significant hazard concern. This is some new fountains over the past day that have kind of ponded. The lava has kind of built a perched lava pond, and the lava is overflowing from that pond in several directions. It's right in the middle of the Leilani Estate subdivision, so over the past couple of days it's destroyed a handful of homes. The location of those fissures that have opened up over the past day is unfortunate.
Hawaii's raging Kilauea volcano eruption has destroyed hundreds of homes across the defenseless Big Island, and a new catastrophic danger has emerged from the inferno, a terrifying volcanic tornado. Hawaii's serene jungle landscapes have transformed to biblical scenes of fire and brimstone since Hawaii volcano Kilauea began erupting more than a month ago on May 3rd. An incredibly rare phenomenon was now captured on camera by a touring photographer who witnessed strong winds whip up a fiery twister. Photographer Anthony Quintano snapped the breathtaking tornado, dubbed Lavanado, over volcanic fissure 8 in Leilani Estates. Mr. Quintano said, "I was in a media escort provided by the Hawaii National Guard, so we were in Leilani Estates, the only legal way to view and cover the lava inside the area." The fountain was shooting 200 feet in the air, and it was roughly a half-mile away from where we were standing. Volcanologist Dr. Janine Krippler and meteorologist Sean Lutches dubbed the event a volcanic fire whirl. Earlier last month, the United States Geological Survey warned volcanoes have been known to cause weather of their own. The warning came after pirocumulus clouds were spotted forming over the Leilani Estates fissure system. The USGS explained, also known as flammogenitus or fire clouds, pirocumulus clouds are formed when intense heating of the air from the ground induces convection, which causes the air mass to rise to a point of stability, usually in the presence of moisture. These clouds are interesting to watch, but, like normal cumulus clouds, can also form thunderstorms. These clouds are most often seen above forest fires or associated with large explosive eruptions, but apparently they can occur over fissures too. But the agency stressed there is no concern the volcano could create full-blown tornadoes across the island. Instead, the agency said just devil-sized twisters are a possibility, similar to the one observed by Mr. Quintano in Leilani. Dust devils are strong and well-formed whirlwinds ranging from just a few meters to 1,000 meters in height. On Friday morning UK time, the USGS reported strong lava fountaining at Fissure 8 spewing up to 200 feet in the sky. Increasing seismic activity at the summit of Kilauea was also reported, and officials are expecting a small explosion overnight.
Lava from Hawaii's erupting Kilauea volcano has reached a geothermal power station on the Big Island. The Puna Geothermal Venture facility contains wells that tap into steam and gas deep in the Earth's core. Hawaii's governor on Monday said the wells are secure.
The Puna Geothermal Venture site is stable. We believe that we have mitigated any risk to the community.
But lava has never engulfed a geothermal plant anywhere in the world, and the potential threat is untested. Residents fear that the combination of molten rock and pressurized steam could cause an emission of deadly hydrogen sulfide.
We believe that the PGV site is safe, that the actions that we've taken to quench the wells, to plug the wells, to make sure that we can control any release of hydrogen sulfide will be contained.
Authorities shut down the plant, deactivated the wells, and removed 60,000 gallons of flammable liquid. Over the weekend, the U.S. Geological Survey detected more than 250 earthquakes at Kilauea's summit, with 4 explosions Saturday sending ash 12 to 15,000 feet into the air. Large fissures have opened in the earth since the eruption began on May 3rd. Local media reported about 2,000 people have so far evacuated. U.S. Marine Corps and National Guard helicopters are standing by for an air evacuation if fissures cut off Highway 130, the last exit route for up to 1,000 remaining coastal residents.
Hawaii Island's Kilauea volcano continues to erupt. Lava and toxic gases continue to spew forth, further destroying and isolating Puna District communities. With the danger ever present and no signs that the current eruption will stop, the Hawaii National Guard, together with elements of the active duty, held an aerial medical evacuation training exercise in Hilo on June 6th. The mission was conducted to test procedures and ensure smooth military-civilian interface in the event of an actual aerial medical evacuation using military helicopters.
We are exercising our medevac capabilities for the JTF-50, hopefully to have a positive impact and show the community what we're capable of. This scenario would take place, it would be a worst-case scenario where we had to exercise a 9-line medevac to extract or save a patient.
The training exercise was coordinated by Joint Task Force 50, the military task force created to leverage both National Guard and active duty forces in an effort to assist Hawaii County civil authorities. For this exercise, specially equipped U.S. Army medical evacuation helicopters stationed at Pohakuloa training area were utilized.
Over the past 4 to 5 weeks, we faced a lot of challenges as a community. The JTF-50, which is comprised of active duty, Air and Army National Guardsmen, is here to support them in any way that we can.
Over the past 24 hours, activity on the lower east rift zone has continued. There's been active fountaining at some of the fissures, although it's kind of decreased in activity over the last 24 hours a little bit. So fissure 17 had been pretty active with an active lava flow heading over a mile to the east. That's still growing, but at a really slow rate. Some other fissures were active overnight according to field crews. That includes reactivation of fissure 13, lots of gas emissions, lots of SO2 coming out of all the fissures. So activity continues on the lower east rift zone. The big action over the last day or so has been up at Halemaumau crater. Yesterday morning we started to see some pretty intense ash emissions from the crater. The highest that the cloud of the ash reached was about 12,000 feet above sea level, and winds were pushing that ash down to the southwest over the Kau Desert area. We had some reports of ashfall, trace amounts of ashfall in the downwind direction. Because of that activity at the crater that went on for a few hours, HVO raised the aviation color code from orange to red. That aviation color code to red is just an indication to the aviation community that there are significant amounts of ash from the eruptive activity. So we've had some questions from folks about what code red means. It sounds a little bit alarming. It's really just to say that we see significant amounts of ash from this ongoing activity and to warn aviators about that ash. It doesn't mean that a really big eruption is imminent. It's really just characterizing that aviation situation. So that's what's going on up at Halemaumau. Overnight, things quieted a little bit, but we expect this kind of ash emission to wax and wane, get more or less intense, given our dynamic situation. The winds are a little different today. The trade winds have slacked off, so there are some concerns that up in Volcano Village and in the park area we might get increased ash fall and of course SO2 over the next day or so. So that'll be a concern of folks in that area.
The eruption of Fuego volcano is Guatemala's biggest and most violent volcanic eruption the country has seen for more than 40 years. And these shocking before and after aerial pictures reveal the extent of the damage. The satellite imagery shows the before and after of lava flow associated with the eruption of the Fuego volcano near the village of San Miguel Los Lotes and surrounding area. The death toll from the eruptions that began on Sunday now stands at 100. Rescue workers have been searching frantically for survivors and victims in the lava-ravaged landscape left by the eruptions, which showered volcanic ash over nearby towns and spewed pyroclastic flows throughout the area. Volcán de Fuego, which means volcano of fire, exploded on Sunday in its most devastating eruption in more than 4 decades, unleashing ash and sand. The volcano shot thick plumes of ash miles into the sky that rained down on nearby towns, and a thick smoldering layer of ash and volcanic rock blanketed the tiny hamlet of San Miguel Los Lotes. Fuego's eruption released monstrous amounts of hot lava and mud that ravaged across Guatemala City. New pictures reveal the aftermath of the volcanic eruption. Devastating pictures show an ash-covered village in San Miguel Los Lotes, with rescue teams and the threat of fresh landslides forced emergency workers today to suspend a search for victims of a major eruption of Guatemala's Fuego volcano. To date, 100 people are known to have died in Sunday's major eruption of the volcano, with 200 more reported as missing. Rescue teams have been searching frantically for survivors and victims in the lava-ravaged landscape. Beginning on Sunday, the eruptions unleashed volcanic ash over nearby towns and spewed pyroclastic flows throughout the area. Fuego, or fire in Spanish, lies about 25 miles southwest of the capital, Guatemala City, near the picturesque colonial. Fuego's recent activity is the most violent volcanic eruption the country has seen for more than 40 years. The eruption of Fuego volcano is Guatemala's biggest and most violent volcanic eruption the country has seen for more than 40 years, and these shocking before and after aerial pictures reveal the extent of the damage. The satellite imagery shows the before and after of lava flow associated with the eruption of the Fuego volcano near the village of San Miguel Los Lotes and surrounding area in Guatemala. The death toll from the eruptions that began on Sunday now stands at 100. Rescue workers have been searching frantically for survivors and victims in the lava-ravaged landscape left by the eruptions. Volcan de Fuego, which means volcano of fire, exploded on Sunday in its most devastating eruption in more than 4 decades, unleashing ash and sending rapid pyroclastic flows through nearby towns. The volcano shot thick plumes of ash miles into the sky that rained down on nearby towns, and a thick smoldering layer of ash and volcanic rock blanketed the tiny hamlet of San Miguel Los Lotes. Fuego's eruption released monstrous amounts of hot lava and mud that ravaged across Guatemala City. New pictures reveal the aftermath of the volcanic eruption. Devastating pictures show an ash-covered village in San Miguel Los Lotes, with rescue teams and residents searching for loved ones in peril. The threat of fresh landslides forced emergency workers today to suspend a search for victims of a major eruption of Guatemala's Fuego volcano. To date, 100 people are known to have died in Sunday's major eruption of the volcano, with 200 more reported as missing. Rescue teams have been searching frantically for survivors and victims in the lava-ravaged landscape. Beginning on Sunday, the eruptions unleashed volcanic ash over nearby towns and spewed pyroclastic flows throughout the area. Fuego, or fire in Spanish, lies about 25 miles southwest of the capital, Guatemala City, near the picturesque colonial city of Antigua. Fuego's recent activity is the most violent volcanic eruption the country has seen for more than 40 years. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed approximately 600 homes since its most destructive eruption in modern times began on May 3rd, but is it about to erupt again? Here are the latest USGS alerts. Kilauea's current level of devastation has surpassed its previous worst tally when it wiped out 215 structures in ongoing eruptions starting in 1983. The recent volcanic blasts are now the United States' worst since the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state, according to volcano specialist Scott Rowland. Hawaii Governor David Icke passed $12 million of funding on Thursday to support Big Island, where spreading lava flows are causing mounting costs. A burgeoning river of scalding lava swallowed the entire development of vacation land, Big Island Mayor Harry Kim confirmed yesterday. Around 160 homes were lost along with 330 houses at Kapoho Beach lots. This follows earlier losses at Lalani Estates. All three are situated at the island's southeastern tip. Mayor Kim said, "So if you combine the three of them, Kapoho, Vacation Land and Lalani, I'm talking about 600 families. Don't forget the farmers, don't forget the ranchers, don't forget all the employees for them." Is Kilauea volcano going to erupt again? Latest USGS alerts: Kilauea erupted again a few hours ago with a small explosion at 2:44 a.m. local time, 3:44 p.m. British Summer. USGS said in its latest status update no weather radar observations of plume hikes are possible, but satellite data suggest that any plume that might have been generated did not exceed 10,000 feet above sea level. Since the small explosion, seismic activity in the summit region has been low. Inward slumping of the rim and walls of Halima continues in response to ongoing subsidence at the summit. USGS has set up a live stream of the summit, which currently shows steaming ash clouds and gases rising above the Halima crater. Kilauea remains on red alert, meaning an eruption is imminent or is already underway. Scientists have warned the active volcano is likely to become more explosive as its lava lake lowers, causing steam-driven blasts. What are the other threats posed by Kilauea? Other threats include Fissure 8 in the lower East Rift Zone, which is fountaining to heights of 220 feet and channeling into the Pacific Ocean. As the lava reacts with the seawater, it has been producing lays, a toxic blend of hydrochloric acid and tiny glass particles. Seaside dwellers are being urged to avoid exposure to floating lays clouds as it can cause eye irritation and respiratory problems if ingested. Volcanic ash is also a concern as it carries life-threatening sulfur dioxide, another factor in respiratory problems. Hawaii's raging Kilauea volcano eruption has destroyed hundreds of homes across the defenseless Big Island, and a new catastrophic danger has emerged from the inferno, a terrifying volcanic tornado. Hawaii's serene jungle landscapes have transformed to biblical scenes of fire and brimstone since Hawaii volcano Kilauea began erupting more than a month ago on May 3rd. An incredibly rare phenomenon was now captured on camera by a touring photographer who witnessed strong winds whip up a fiery twister. Photographer Anthony Quintano snapped the breathtaking tornado, dubbed Lavanado, over volcanic Fissure 8 in Leilani Estates. Mr. Quintano said, "I was in a media escort provided by the Hawaii National Guard, so we were in Leilani Estates, the only..."
Lower East Rift Zone lava fountaining continues at Fissure 8 with fountain heights of 130 to 230 feet, and it also continues to feed a lava flow channel through the Kapoho area with an ocean entry that has a broad front in the general area of Kapoho Bay and vacation lands. It's still producing a vigorous steam and lays plume that, depending on the wind direction, has been blown to the southwest. We remind you that lays or lava haze is a localized hazard and will not travel far downwind. The northern lobe of the Fissure 8 flow has stalled, although there is still some incandescence in the finger of that lobe that advanced into a low depression or graben several nights ago. The lobe that was active on the west side of the Four Corners cinder pit is now inactive, and no other fissures are active at this time. Pele's hair and other lightweight glass fragments are accumulating in the Leilani Estates subdivision, and strong winds can blow those particles farther from the area because they are made of glass and can cause skin and eye irritation. You should minimize contact with them. At the summit, a small explosion with the energy equivalent to a magnitude 5.6 earthquake occurred at 4:07 p.m. yesterday and created an ash plume that rose to a height of 10,000 feet. Seismicity dropped after the explosion but is increasing again, and following the pattern of the next few days, we expect the next small explosion in about 24 hours. Slumping of the rim and walls of Halema'uma'u crater continues in response to the ongoing summit subsidence. VOG emissions from the summit and the fissures remain high, and in the next several days, wind may bring VOG not only to the south and west sides of the island, but to the interior as well.
The Hawaii volcano eruption is expected to impact the state's marine and animal life for decades as the environment changes in the wake of the lava flow. Kilauea, on Hawaii's Big Island, first started erupting on May 3rd, resulting in lava oozing over residential communities and heading towards the Pacific Ocean. The lava first met the ocean on May 20th. While the lava flow has received lots of attention for destroying neighborhoods, it has also been quietly covering Hawaii's famed tide pools, hot springs and coastal waters, changing the shoreline in the process. On the shoreline, the differences will be night and day, Frank Samzone, a professor of oceanography at Amanol, told Khan. Active environment with hot pools and animals of all different kinds, it's going to be either a black sand beach or a cliff. In addition, Samson noted that when lava which emits sulfur dioxide and hydriodic acid mixes with water, it changes the acidity in the water. If the acidity changes enough, it could have a deleterious effect on sensitive marine life, which would either leave the area or stay away from it in the future. In addition, when lava meets water, it sheds tiny, glassy particles into the water, which Samzone said would be harmful when passing through animals with gills. Samzone said that it could take hundreds of years for the marine life to return to the state it was in prior to the volcano eruption. In the meantime, he said, it's likely that more deep water animals will be seen along the coast, in place of the traditional inshore, coastal varieties that the Kapoho area is known for. In addition, if you kept a careful eye, you would see the black sand beaches coming and going. Maybe they would migrate down the coast, Samzone said. The volcano eruption isn't all bad news for marine life, however. Ash blocks the sun and causes ocean temperatures to fall, which creates ideal growth conditions in the ocean, as well as supplying nutrients on the ocean surface, International Pacific researcher Megumi Chikamoto told Khan. Meanwhile, on land, as people flee from the lava's path, they're often forced to leave behind both pets and livestock, which are now said to be scattered around the Big Island's animal shelters, sanctuaries and foster homes. Once, a litter of puppies was discovered in a box near the side of the highway close to the lava zone. Kathy Buono, of Rainbow Friends Animal Sanctuary, in Curtistown, Hawaii, said that the shelter has been inundated with household pets that their owners were unable to flee with. Unfortunately, a lot of people are dumping their animals, so we're getting a lot of abandoned and surrendered animals as well, Buono told KITV. She added that the shelter has been on the receiving end of non-stop calls from people crying on the phone seeking help for their beloved animals. It's very emotional for them, Buono said. Good Samaritans have been known to rescue fleeing neighbors' livestock as well, lest they be covered by the lava. Hawaii Civil Defense is now said to be working with the Hawaii Fire Department to arrange air rescues and answer calls for animal rescues. The AP reported Friday that scientists said the lava flow has created nearly a mile of new land and that there is no way of knowing when the eruption will end or if more lava-spewing vents will open. More than 600 homes in the lava's path have been destroyed so far. Kilauea's ongoing eruption is said to have been one of the most destructive in modern times, and the destruction has reached catastrophic levels as lava continues to ooze out of fissures. These pictures show how the landscape of Hawaii has changed since the devastating eruption. The destruction caused by Hawaii's Kilauea volcano can be judged by the number of homes destroyed by the red-hot lava continuously oozing out of fissures on the Big Island. The latest estimate: 600 homes have been consumed by the volcano, far surpassing the 215 buildings destroyed during a 30-year eruption cycle which began in 1983. Latest lava flows completely destroyed an area called Vacation Land, with the total number of homes destroyed from the volcano hovering at around 400. Hawaii County Mayor Harry Kim told a briefing with emergency responders at the Hawaii County Civil Defense Building, "It hurts like hell. What we lost is the most beautiful place on Earth." Lava is also over on Kapoho Beach lots, where approximately 320 to 350 homes were destroyed. According to the Associated Press, molten rock entirely covers vacation land. A magnitude 5.6 earthquake triggered the destruction of vacation land. The lava from the eruption is among the most destructive and costly in volcano property loss in its history, the Associated Press reports. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory issued this update at 6 a.m. local time on Friday. Hawaiian Volcano Observatory reports that vigorous lava eruptions continue in the lower East Rift Zone. Fissure 8 is producing a large channelized flow that is entering the ocean at Kapoho Bay and producing a large laze plume. Lava fountaining at Fissure 8 has fluctuated and reached heights of up to 230 feet. The activity from Fissure 8 continues to feed a lava channel flowing east to Kapoho Bay. Kilauea on Hawaii's Big Island is one of the world's most active volcanoes. An estimated 2,500 people have been displaced by evacuations across the island, and geologists have said they have no idea how much longer the eruption will continue. Hawaii Governor David Ige says the state has given the county $12 million to help it respond to the eruption. He says it will help pay for overtime, food and equipment, and he explained county employees have been working around the clock for almost 40 days. The recent volcanic eruptions in Hawaii and Guatemala are a reminder that not all volcanoes are created equal. Some types pose a far greater hazard to life than others. In the most recent eruption of Kilauea on the Big Island of Hawaii that began a month ago, most of the lava has oozed from fissures, spreading slowly enough that it is no threat to people, although hundreds of houses and other buildings in the lava's path have been destroyed. But the two eruptions that have occurred so far at the Fuego volcano near Guatemala City have been explosive, creating pyroclastic flows, fast-moving, searingly hot clouds of volcanic ash and gases that have killed more than 100 people so far. Lava flows rarely kill people, said Paul Segwall, a professor of geophysics at Stanford University. They typically move slow enough that you can walk out of the way. By contrast, pyroclastic flows are extremely dangerous, he said, with temperatures as high as 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Because the clouds are denser than air, they can rush down valleys or gullies at speeds of 100 miles an hour or more and overcome people trying to run away. You will not survive a pyroclastic flow, Dr. Segwall said. Kilauea and Fuego are very different volcanoes. Kilauea is a shield type of broad, gently sloping lump of old lava. Fuego is a stratovolcano, with a conical shape and steep sides. The difference in shape, and in eruptions, is related to the viscosity of the molten rock, or magma, within each volcano. At Kilauea the magma is relatively thin, so that each time it erupts the lava quickly spreads out, leaving a broad low mound. At Fuego the magma is much thicker, so it spreads less rapidly, leaving a higher mound. Kilauea's thinner magma also explains why it is less explosive. As magma comes to the surface, a lot of gases, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and others come with it. Kilauea's magma is thin enough that most of the gas bubbles out. At Fuego and other stratovolcanoes, the thicker magma traps much of the gas. At some point, the massive magma and gas explodes. Some stratovolcano eruptions are so big they eject huge amounts of gas and ash high into the atmosphere, where the gas can reflect sunlight and lower global temperatures for several years. The eruption of Krakatau in 1883 in what is now Indonesia, for example, caused temperatures to temporarily drop about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. Neither of Fuego's eruptions were anywhere near that large. And a Krakatau-scale explosion of a shield volcano like Kilauea is never going to happen, Dr. Segwall said. Not that there haven't been a few small explosions on Kilauea in the past month. These may have been the result of hot magma contacting groundwater, which then flashes into steam. But the explosions were predictable and relatively small. Only one injury occurred. Kilauea has experienced fountaining of lava, where the molten rock is thrust 100 feet or more into the air as gas bubbles out of it. Dr. Segal said that this suggests that the lava during this eruption contains more gas than usual. Fuego has also produced lahars, essentially mudslides where the mud is actually volcanic ash and other debris. Lahars are usually cooler than pyroclastic flows. They occur sometime after the eruption, when the ash has settled on the ground, but they can be extremely destructive and deadly, burying houses and people in their path. Hawaii's Kilauea volcano has destroyed approximately 600 homes since its most destructive eruption in modern times began on May 3rd, but is it about to erupt again? Here are the latest USGS alerts. Kilauea's current level of devastation has surpassed its previous worst tally when it wiped out 215 structures in ongoing eruptions starting in 1983. The recent volcanic blasts are now the United States' worst since the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state, according to volcano specialist Scott Rowland.